I'm Lauren with Pack Hacker, and today we're going to be taking a detailed look at the Klean Kanteen Insulated Classic with pour-through cap, which I've been testing for the last 2 weeks. Let's dive in. So starting off with the materials on this one here, it's fairly simple. I mean, just kind of looking at it, right, it's the same all around. On the outside is a chip resistant clean coat finish, which is just a like powder coat. So it has a little bit of a matte look to it, which is really nice. You can see there is a little bit, it's not quite chipping, so I guess it's not technically incorrect, but there is a little bit of like scraping that's been going on. And I do notice this happens with a lot of these like powder finishes. So there is a chance that you will develop some sort of a blemish. But over the course of my testing, you know, it still looks pretty clean. So in general, you know, it does have a nice look to it. And then on the bottom here, it has like a stainless steel look to it. This is their like impact base cap. And this is so like when you set it down, it's not touching this powder coat directly. And then on the rest of it here, we have 90% post-consumer recycled 18/8 stainless steel. So this is a stainless steel kind of water bottle that you're going to see in a lot of different water bottles, that like that level of like stainless steel. So if you're familiar with insulated water bottles, this is going to perform very similar to that. And what really is different about this here, this is a 25 ounce sizing, and it comes with this pour through cap. So this is what we're really going to be focusing on in this review. This pour through cap right at the time of this review only comes with this 25 ounce, but that is sort of the point. So this is something that's really great if you like sharing your drinks, or if you are going to be, you know, traveling, you're going to be on the road and you want to have something that you're going to be kind of sharing with somebody else, like in the car per se. This does fit in a water bottle holder in the car. So this is something that you can bring along with you there. What you're going to do is you're going to unscrew it and pour it into a cup. So it doesn't have a lid like a traditional water bottle does, but what it does is it unscrews, creates a little bit of a gap, and you can pour from anywhere. So I'll kind of show you what that looks like. I have a little cup over here. And so when I have this open, just kind of hangs out, and then it pours right through. So I've got just water in here, and I'm kind of just going around to show you that it pours from all sides. So there are a few different things that happen when you pour from all sides. Obviously it comes out nice and easy. I never had any issues with it like spilling over, but what I did notice is that you can kind of see water dripping along the outside of the cap. And that was one thing that I did notice a lot. And sometimes that water would then, like one little trickle would come down, with which if you are just using water, then that's fine, right? Because it's easy to wipe off whatever. But this is really great for sharing like a mixed drink, or if you want to share like a sugary drink, bring it on a picnic, something like that, coffee even. And so if you have things that aren't water in here, the more that it gets around the outside, whether it's trickling down or on the cap, then you kind of have to like wipe it off with your fingers or have a napkin nearby. And that kind of, to me, defeats the purpose of being able to just very cleanly pour it out, because then you tighten it back on and you have, you know, a little bit of moisture around the edges there. So not a huge deal. But it is a little bit inconvenient. And then also what I will give this credit for is that it has a very tight seal. So there's a little bit of water left in here. You can sort of hear it. And I filled this up to the brim, kind of threw it all over the place when it was nice and sealed tight, and I had no issues with leaking. So what's really nice is that while you can pour it out very easily, it doesn't get in the way when it's not. See, it does spill over a little bit there. And so gonna wipe that off. In general, it does perform super well. It's just a matter of, you know, how easily you're able to pour things out and what's in here, and if getting it all over you is gonna be a little bit of a hassle. So to remove this, you just sort of unscrew it and then get a closer look at this cap here. It has these like bumpy edges, and this is what goes inside of the threading on the inside of the water bottle there. And then with this, easily comes off this like silicone edge, and you can easily clean it. And then looking at the inside here, you can kind of see there's like a lip down here, and that's where like that silicone edge hangs out. So this does go in and out fairly easily. I'm going to avoid doing it too much because it can be a little bit of a grating sound just with the metal on metal. But I found that, if you wanted to use this as a regular cup, you could just take this out entirely and just drink from it like normal. It kind of defeats the purpose of having this chug cap in general, but this bottle is compatible with other lids from Klean Kanteen. So if you wanted to kind of use this as like a dual purpose bottle, and you could bring a couple other caps with you and technically just like swap them out as you go. So, it looks pretty nice on the outside, nice and clean on the inside. I did find that it had a little bit of like a leftover scent if I had something that wasn't water in there, but it never transferred over to the taste for me, which is really what matters the most. Obviously, having it smell like, I had like a lemonade in here. And I left it for a day or two after I had kind of forgotten about it. And when I opened it back up, everything was still fresh and fine in there. But when I poured it out, it still smelled a little bit like lemonade. Another thing I will note is that it does keep things cold for a pretty long time. So I left cold water, not ice cold water with ice in it, but just cold water in my car on a really hot day, left it out in the sun. It was probably like over 100 degrees in my car by the time I got back in there. And the water inside was still cold. I don't love ice cold water, but having like kind of like a just above lukewarm water still stayed really nice at that temperature for a decent amount of time, even in a hot car. So this is really great, again, if you're going to be going on a road trip and you want to have a couple of different drink options with you and you want to make sure that everything stays cold and nice and fresh in the car, and then you can share it with somebody else. The biggest thing, obviously, with sharing is that you're going to have to pour this into something, so you're going to want to bring additional cups or maybe like an extra thermos mug or something like that. But overall, kind of a small price to pay in order to have one drink in one spot. So there you have it, the Klean Kanteen Insulated Classic with pour-through cap. Thanks for keeping it here at Pack Hacker, your guide to smarter travel, and we'll see you in the next one.